Welcome back to the PokerStrategy.com TSL number 3, day 3. We're in series number 3, game 2. There's Man or Goody once again saying good luck, have fun. NesTea responding, good luck, good luck. We saw NesTea playing a very strong adaptive style. Adaptivity becoming a very crucial trait to have for successful StarCraft 2 players. Not so much focused on the mechanics that we saw in Brood War. I'm sure it'll come, but it hasn't come yet. So we're here now on game number 2 in Zelnega Caverns. Top right, as the Zerg player is spawning, IM.NesTea, who's up 1-0 against his opponent in the bottom left, the Panzer General, ESC.GoOdy.
Absolutely. I do want to mention one more time, make sure to check out all the VODs from today's cast as well as the previous weeks. The ones from today will be posted a little bit later because, you know, you have to render them and upload them, all that. But regardless, if you miss a single game today or in the past, just make sure to check out their YouTube. It's youtube.com/TeamLiquidNet. And again, there's more people watching this stream right now than are subscribed to that channel. So definitely go subscribe. Definitely support Team Liquid for basically making one of the best tournaments I've ever seen. We've seen huge upsets, amazing games that we can all learn from. We've seen very creative Protoss versus Terran, and we are seeing Goody attempt to use a mech style play against a Zerg player. We'll see if he does that again this game, which right now he's walling in once again, doing kind of the older school wall in, using your first supply depot there, and then getting a barracks, which does make it vulnerable to banelings, but can also make you safe for a little bit as you try and tech up. So we do have the gas on the way right now for Goody, and we'll just see how NesTea decides to follow this up, looking like he's going to grab his expansion before pool.
You know what, I'm surprised here in game number 2, a 1v1 map, Zelnega Caverns. TSL Shakur's Plateau, and for all intents and purposes, is also a 1v1 map. So I'm surprised to see the quick engineering bay block in game number 1. And Goody, you know, he obviously thought it was a strong build. He liked it. I'm surprised he's not following it up in game number 2 with a similar thing, but deciding not to do that. NesTea being a little bit greedy, deciding to scout with the drone, going up to 16 supply before dropping that spawning pool. Let's see if he gets punished here with a bunker by Goody, and he's keeping that drone alive. Barracks just finishing. That drone is gonna die in that main base, unfortunately, as it's been completely walled off.
And yeah, you mentioned completely walled off is right. Once again, walling in with double supply depots, which is something you do not see very often. The bunker is going to go down in the top center. A Marine about halfway there, and only one drone for NesTea has been pulled off the line to try and deal with this. And once that one Marine shows up, he will be just fine. NesTea just now pulling off 5 drones, realizing, well, this is the standard rush timing for the Terran player. Although Goody does not have a second barracks for this rush. This is just once again to try and pull the drones off for as long as possible. That Marine is going to get out of there, and then Goody will cancel this right at the last second there, you can see, and then the drones are going to get back to work. So no huge economic damage there because the drones getting there right when the hatchery is finishing anyways. And really, I think that Goody would have done more damage if he had a second racks, but instead is going to be going for his factory right now. And we could see mech play, but the thing is that if he gets a starport, there's really an unlimited amount of builds that he can go. And one last thing, looks like he's going to grab the gas here to keep the drone alive as long as possible.
Yeah, just going to steal the gas. That's very annoying with mech play. You really need that gas to get the siege mode and the siege tank out. You can't hit the right timing for your first siege tank unless you do that. And Goody actually, why is he keeping 3 Marines by his wall and only attacking with 2? That's a little bit strange. You really need that gas, but it looks like he's not going with that style, instead going for a starport and a Hellion. So let's see if he drops a few Hellions. Actually, that extractor gets canceled and rebuilt. So a lot of value being added from NesTea by stealing this gas of Goody. I want to see how Goody is going to follow up. He's really being careful not to let any scouts in. He's sending a Marine up to 12 o'clock, and the Overlord is actually sneaking in the bottom. The extractor could not be rebuilt yet again. So NesTea has good scouting, but Goody looks like he's up to something sneaky here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing. He hasn't gotten that second gas at all yet. He is continuing to produce Hellions here. So, I mean, a Hellion drop is always a potential threat, but still is not taking that second gas, which a lot of time, when you see a barracks factory starport, you do need that gas. You can potentially get Banshees or Ravens or really just any high gas unit, but he's continuing to not get that. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what he does here. It seems like he wants the additional minerals. He has a lot of Marines now in this group, and he could potentially just try and push out. Instead of trying to do some sort of drop harassment, maybe just push out with his army and try and punish NesTea if he plays too greedily, which right now there's no spine crawlers or anything like that. A Ro32 just now completing, and I do want to take a look at the units tab. 31 drones to 23 SCVs as Goody's continuing to produce workers, but he's pushing out right now. We'll see if he can make anything happen with this attack.
Yeah, I've kind of got 2 ideas that I think he may be going for. One is either an elevator, or the other he's going to try to harass the front base the front door while dropping the Marines in the back door. These could be, as you said, for just healing, as he's running in a few Hellions. Going to catch a few Zerglings here, actually, dealing a little bit of damage on one of them, not dealing too much splash, as they don't have blue flames, of course, as the game just begun, but he's actually running right up here and dealing a ton of damage. Drones coming out. They're forced to try to surround the Hellions. That's never a good place for drones to be. A lot of drones going down. Oh my god. So many units going down. Here come a bunch of SCVs to come repair. The Marines are nicely nestled between the drones. Oh my god. He may just kill him here. He may just make Hellions, Marines, and SCVs and kill NesTea.
He is just marching right here. Roach is spawning at the worst time ever, dying right as they spawn. A second Roach goes down. A Queen has got to go down on the ramp as well. NesTea is forced to tuck back inside of his main base. And so now GoOdy is just rallying more and more reinforcements up here. Doesn't even have a command center on the way. He beautifully makes a Banshee as well because he knows that NesTea is not going to have more anti-air except for Queen. So the Banshee, once that arrives, it can be very difficult for NesTea to deal with. NesTea is going to have to keep making Queens if he wants to deal with the Banshee. The Banshee is almost there. It is going to be spotted by that Overlord. But right now, the Roach Warren is going to go down as well. So it's going to have to be relying on Zerglings and Queens alone. And it's going to pop right there. There it goes right now. And a couple of Zerglings will spawn to their doom as well. So right now, GoOdy is actually in phenomenal shape. I think he did more damage here than he expected to. And he's just going to follow it up by trying to end it right now.
Yeah, and I think he will be able to end it with no Roach Warren. NesTea is out of options. He's bringing the Queen in to try to deal with the Banshee. That's a big deal right now. Banshee dealing a ton of damage to the Roaches, but also dealing a lot of damage to the Queen. Once that Queen goes down, there's not another Queen in production. Zergling's trying to surround the Marines, but looks like they're not going to be successful. Medevac is dry, but regaining energy, and looks like Speedlings are going to come to try to shut this down. Reinforcing Marines coming in, and oh my god, GoOdy's micro is so good. Now the tiptoes off creep. That's never a good place for a Queen to be. The Banshee dealing a ton of damage, just really softening everything up. And 14 Zerglings in production. That's really all NesTea can make at this point. So even if he lives this, he is so far behind. Let's go ahead and look at the units tab. 19 drones versus 27 SCVs. That's if he lives this.
Yeah, and there's also a command center on the way for GoOdy right now, nearly completed, so he preemptively started making that. Even though this Banshee is up to 16 kills, he wants to make sure he doesn't get ahead of himself and count NesTea out of this game. Yeah, because NesTea's micro has been actually really good in holding that off. I mean, yes, he did lose a lot of units there at first, but since then he's been microing really well. And, I mean, don't put it past NesTea to come back in this game to make something happen. The Banshee trying to take out the hatchery in the top center. The Queen has arrived, could take out the Banshee. No, it's going to get away with just 5 HP there. Another Banshee in the center of the map. GoOdy's micro has been phenomenal. NesTea, the only reason he's still in this game is because of his micro, but GoOdy is sitting happily inside of his main base right now, throwing down 2 additional factories. May once again transition to more back play. Another Queen goes down, but a third one is spawning. So, I mean, this is just micro everywhere. You can see units flying to try and do more harassment. Killing drones here now. This game is very intense from beginning to end.
Yeah, it looks like NesTea actually not going to die straight up from that. I'm really surprised. GoOdy now bringing in another Banshee. Is he repairing that initial Banshee? No, it's just kind of sitting around just chilling. But the medevac going to come back, and he's got that Banshee in the top right as well. So one Banshee does kill one Queen if microed properly, and there is only one Queen at the natural. So GoOdy can run in with the one Banshee, force NesTea to bring his second Queen, as the second Queen is already coming down. Then he can bring in the Banshee from the top right. Let's see if he does that. I keep you an eye on the Banshee. No movement yet. He's just trying to micro the Banshee at the natural, trying to pick off drones. He's only focusing on drones. The 2 Queens down, doing a lot of damage to that Banshee, driving it away. The second one, no action from the second one, as there is a third Queen there. So that was all a pipe dream in my head.
Still very effective play, though, from GoOdy, as, I mean, the Roach Warren is just now on the way, 12 minutes into the game, and that's the only tech he has. No lair tech whatsoever. I don't even think he started his lair. No, just now starting it the second I say that. So the lair tech actually going to be at the natural, which that hatchery is weakened. It's only got about a third HP there, and you can see GoOdy taking his expansion right now, so he's now at an equal amount of bases to the Zerg player. The difference, though, is going to be the worker count, 38 SCVs to 34 drones. At this point, a Zerg wants to be way ahead in that worker count, especially since the Terran player just now getting his own expansion, but GoOdy is going to be moving out here. Is this timing going to be enough? He's bringing SCVs as well as the Raven in here. Could use that auto turret if he wants to, because really the energy is not going to be good for anything else, and this could be a lot of trouble for NesTea, especially if he loses these 2 Queens, and the Spine Crawler is not even completed yet. GoOdy really hitting a good timing here with this attack.
Yeah, especially having blue flames. He's just melting those Zerglings down. The 2 Queens are all that remains. Production tab showing only Zerglings on the way as the Roach Warren just completes, and those are not good against the unit composition that GoOdy has here, including the Banshees. It'll do well to deal with the Hellions, but oh my god, Hellions moving in now against undefended drones. This is just like a Hellions wet dream as he moves forward, cuts up so many so many drones and so many Zerglings, and that's got to be it. NesTea, there's no way he can recover from this. What could he do except go for some crazy counterattack with Roaches? spawning a few roaches. There's just so much DPS in these Marines, and having the healing potential. The medevac, NesTea is forced to say GG. GoOdy has tied up the series 1-1, and for this first time today, we're going to a game number 3.
Wow, cannot believe GoOdy actually managed that. I think what it came down to was that first major attack he did, he caused so much damage. For some reason, NesTea decided to engage with the drones, maybe getting overconfident or miscalculating that, but I mean, 8 to 10 drones just got melted away in that attack, and then GoOdy continued to press his advantage. He did not do it in a macro style. He instead transitioned directly into Banshees to keep NesTea on the lower tech units, trying to get out Queens. He killed so many Queens, and then at that point, it just gave him enough time to get the army that he needed. And he also forced the cancel on that hatch, or on the lair as well. And so there was never any Hydras, never any Mutalisks or anything like that to deal with those Banshees. So this game only 13 minutes and 58 seconds. I forget exactly how long the last game was, but it was much longer than that. And so knocking out NesTea that early, can he do a repeat of that in the next game? I definitely think that NesTea's going to have to play a little bit better, make slightly better decisions, but GoOdy just showing us that he is able to take this series down to the last game. I can't even imagine what's going through these players' minds. They are both one game away from losing, going to the next round. So that is crazy. That's all I have to say. I can't even believe that this game is going to a best of 3 at our map number 3 here. So just wow. That's all I've got.
I think there was a little bit of a psychological factor out of NesTea there, because I think he played GoOdy. He saw the build GoOdy did in game 1, very passive. You need a lot of drones. You need to really take that third expansion quickly, and that's what he did, and he won very convincingly in game number 1. Game number 2, GoOdy looks the same. GoOdy was very careful with his Marines not to pull them towards the extractor, not to pull them away from his wall, not to let any overlords in, and then he played a completely different style. It's very easy as a player to say, oh yeah, I know what he's doing, and then suddenly this big strong push moves in, and you've only got access to Zerglings, which is not what you need to stop that initial Hellion Marine attack. I think GoOdy's played his hand, though. He's played kind of the tricky build, and I don't think it's going to work here in game number 3. So if he takes down NesTea game number 3 on Tal'Darim Altar, I think he's really going to have to stick to a solid style. He can't try to play those kind of mind games anymore. I think he's played that hand. It's done. He's got to move past it. And I think he is capable of doing that. So without any further delay, I know everyone wants to see if Korea can get shut out in day number 3. We're going to move on to game number 3, series number 3, TSL number 3, right after this commercial.